Hi, I'm Peter Jacobs. I'm a CE inspector for Blue Peter Marine. And I would like to use my experience in this field to help you navigate through the maze of CE directive and ISO standards.
Welcome aboard. Today we're examining ISO 9094, the international standard for fire protection on small craft. As a CE inspector, I understand how critical proper fire prevention and protection systems are for vessel safety. I speak not just as an inspector, but as someone who has witnessed firsthand the devastating consequences of fire. We lost our home to a fire when I was 11 years old. And tragically, 37 years later, my mother passed away in another fire. These profound personal losses have driven my commitment to fire safety standards. This ISO standard could make the difference between a minor incident and a catastrophic loss at sea, something I understand at the deepest personal level. Let's establish what vessels fall under this standard purview. ISO 9094 applies to small craft with a hull length up to 24 meters. Personal watercraft, commonly known as jet skis, are specifically excluded. The standard does not cover permanently installed galley stove and heating appliances using liquid fuel. These falls under ISO 14895. Carbon monoxide detection systems are also handled separately in ISO 12133. In this video, we will highlight some of the requirements of the standard. For a full comprehensive list, please refer to the complete ISO standard. Materials near cooking and heating appliances. Paragraph 4.2. The standard defines two critical protection zones around open flame devices. Zone 1. Zone 1 extends 350 mm vertically and 100 mm horizontally from any burner. And then Zone 2. Zone 2 extends 500 mm vertically and 250 mm horizontally from LPG electric appliances, or 700 mm vertically for liquid fuel appliances. Materials in Zone 1 must not support combustion. Material in Zone 2 must either not support combustion or be thermally insulated if they exceed 80 degrees during testing. All material must have an oxygen index of at least 21 at 60 degrees ambient temperature. That is particularly important for the engine room insulation. Practical tip: when installing galleys, always account for vessel movement. The zone must consider pitch angles up to 15 degrees for all craft and heel angles up to 30 degrees for sailing craft or 15 degrees for engine-driven craft. Remember, free hanging curtains or fabrics cannot be installed in Zone 1 around electrical cooking hobs. Fire detection. Section 5 covers fire detection requirements, your early warning system. Key requirements: fire detection is required for craft with more than one habitable space. Shower and toilet compartment don't count as additional habitable space. Detectors must provide minimum 85 decibel audible alarm, and they must be located in habitable spaces and engine compartments. Installation note: size detectors appropriately for the space they monitor. Connect to onboard electrical supply or use independent power. Use marine-rated equipment meeting EN 14605 or UL 217 RV standards. Fire escape. Section 6 addresses fire escape. perhaps the most critical life safety element. Fire escape routes key requirements. All habitable space need at least one escape route to open air. The maximum distance to nearest fire exit shall be greater of 6 meters or her length divided by 2.5. Routes cannot pass directly over open flame appliances or radiant heat devices. Only one route can pass through an engine compartment. The fire exit dimension: a circular opening of minimum 450 mm diameter, while other shapes must have a minimum of 380 mm dimension with 0.82 square meter area. In other words, it must accommodate a 380 mm diameter circle after accounting for hinges and hardware. Special requirement for deck hatches: the vertical distance cannot exceed 1.2 meters. If greater, a permanently or readily accessible ladder or steps are required. A folding device is acceptable but must be clearly marked. All fire exits must open without tools from both inside and outside when unlocked. Firefighting equipment. Let's first look at portable fire equipment. You need fire extinguishers at 2 meters from the main home station, 2 meters from cooking or heating appliances, 5 meters from any bunk measured horizontally, and 3 meters of outboard engines or fireport for inboard engines. Note that these different measurements can be combined for one fire extinguisher. Before we discuss capacity requirement, let's understand what these ratings actually mean. For example, 5A34B, which you can find on your fire extinguisher on the label. The 5A means the extinguisher can put out a Class A fire, which is wood, paper, textiles, etc., using a standardized wooden test grip that is 500 mm long. The 34B means it can extinguish a Class B fire, flammable liquid like fuel or oil, involving 34 liters of burning liquid under controlled test conditions. These ratings come from standardized fire tests defined in European standard EN37. So now what are the capacity requirements? We need minimum a 5A34B rated extinguisher within each 20 square meter of habitable space. Habitable space with sleeping bunks must have minimum 5A34B extinguisher per habitable space. And cooking areas with open flames need an 8A68B total capacity plus a fire blanket. Special note on CO2 extinguishers. Maximum they can be 2 kilo capacity. Only one per habitable space. Only in area where electrical equipment or flammable liquids are present. And the room must have asphyxiant warning labels. The engine compartment protection. The protection varies by installation. For example, for outboard engine, there is no extinguisher required below 25 kilowatts, but 1A34B between 25 and 220 kilowatts, and 234B above 220 kilowatt per engine. Petrol engine in boxes above deck. Petrol extinguishers to fireport or fixed system. Petrol engine compartment below decks. They need a fixed system. Diesel engine, that depends on compartment volume and power rating. Fixed fire extinguisher systems are required when all petrol engines compartment are below deck, when the large diesel engine compartment is more than 3.5 cubic meter or the engine more than 120 kilowatts. Key installation requirement: They must be approved systems with test certification. Automatic systems need visual discharge indicators. Gas systems require engine shutdown capability, and they must maintain minimum concentration until the fire is extinguished. Owner's Manual requirements. Don't forget, you must provide comprehensive fire safety information in the Owner's Manual, including equipment location and operation procedures, escape route diagrams, maintenance schedules, and safety warning and operational limitations. Fire protection isn't just a regulatory requirement, it's fundamental to safe boating. By properly implementing ISO 9094-2022, you're providing owners with proven fire prevention, detection, escape, and suppression capabilities. I hope you liked this video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe down below. If you need any certification services, just check out our website, ceinspector.com.